Today's podcast is sponsored by Al and Dean's Artifact Shop. Al and Dean's stocks a wide range of the finest artifacts, from enchanted swords to magic lamps. This week only they have a 2-for-1 offer on Excaliburs, Molyneux and Grails. Get on down to Al and Dean's for excellent deals on Elven Stars, Stormbreakers and Arkenstones. I bought a Palantir from them last month. It turns out that you also have to fork out for a 12-month subscription, or they're just useless glass balls. Alan Dean. Alan Dean. That sounds oddly familiar.
Hello, and welcome to Morris's unofficial tabletop RPG talk. I, as always, am Russ, aka Morrus, or Morrus, aka Russ, and with me is my practical and yet somehow theoretical co-host,
Peter Coffey from the Southampton Guild of Roleplayers. Russ, as ever, it is a pleasure and an absolute delight to be here.
Hey, we're not alone, Peter.
Russ, we are, in the words of the song by Olive, we're not alone. Well, you're not alone, but neither am I. But that's not the point right now. What we're trying to say is that we have a special guest on.
A very special guest.
Anyway, Ed, delighted to see you. For those listeners who remember Ed's first appearance when he came to talk to us about his latest role-playing game release, which I think was Error Liars.
Well done. Well remembered. I was wondering if you'd remember.
I cannot keep up with you because, you just keep on producing all these amazing quality products. So, Ed, it's 5 years for Error the Consortium. You've got more stuff to talk about.
It is very, very close to 5 years, and I have lots more stuff to talk about.
Well, before we get onto that, though, why don't you tell me, Peter, what's caught your eye in the world of RPGs this week?
There have been many things that caught my eye. Probably the standout one is one from, I'm going to try and pronounce it properly, Nerdalopedia, which is a website which had a very good article about how to go about building puzzles for dungeons, but taking it from a very, not in the sense of it gives you lots of examples of how to do this, but it takes it from a first principles and builds it up from there. And I think that could be it looks like a really good resource.
Awesome. That's a great idea. I'm just a bit miffed I didn't come up with it.
You can't have all the ideas.
No, that is true. You can't have, no one person.
That's just not fair.
Russ, what's caught your eye this week?
So, I was sent an email by our friend Tyler McConnell, long-time friend of the show.
Hey Tyler, how you doing?
And he says he's running the Twitter account for a company that's producing a range of dice. So this is a Kickstarter, and I wouldn't normally put a Kickstarter in this bit of the show because we do the Kickstarter game later. But because it's Tyler, I'll make a little exception here. So what we have here, we have a Kickstarter called The Spirit of Series 3 Dice Range. And there's a whole bunch of different dice sets. There's 11 different dice sets. And each one's based off a different animal spirit.
Oh,
so they're different.
Okay.
So they essentially they're sort of see-through dice.
Yeah.
Transparent dice, each with a different colour theme, with this kind of spirit-like thing inside the dice. And then the
spirit-like thing.
I don't know how to describe it. A swirl, colouring within the transparent dice.
Oh, so it's got a nice bit of marbleization going on. Yeah.
And then on the sort of high side of the dice, so on the 12, on the D12, and on the 6, on the D6 and all that, the relevant animal is shown. So there's a spirit of the frog one, and there's a frog on the high side. There's a dragonfly one, a shark one, gorilla, hummingbird, a whole load of them. But yeah, they're really pretty little dice, and no one can ever have too many dice.
What I like about these is they're transparent dice, but actually colourless. And it's just the swirl that is colour, and that's it. There's no other colour in there, which is something that I don't see super often. I often see coloured dice with some marbling going on, but these are transparent dice with some swirl inside, which is interesting.
Oh, yes, okay. Oh, yeah, because I was just looking at I didn't quite understand what all the fuss was about, because the still image that's at the start of the Kickstarter, I looked like it, I was like, great, whatever. It's just... But no, okay, yeah, I'm seeing where that's working. Ooh, that is nice.
And it's nice. It's a bit hypnotic, actually. I feel like I'm expecting them to keep moving.
So that would be awesome. One day someone will invent that, and that will be awesome.
Oh, constantly swirling dice.
Liquid-filled dice.
Ed, has anything caught your eye in the world of RPGs in the last week or so?
You know what's caught my eye, and I'm afraid it is another Kickstarter, but, being on Kickstarter a lot, actually this one made me giggle a bit, and it's called Cats and Cats. Have you guys come across that one yet?
Oh, yes,
Cats
it was
and Cats.
Yeah, I was going to put that in the
Cats.
Kickstarter game, but I'm not going to now.
Right. But,
really.
yeah, I mean, to play the Kickstarter game, what do you reckon it's about?
Like
Well,
that.
it's about cats. And
going
literally
with
the
cats.
Kickstarter description begins with cats, catly cats, and continues like that for some time. Yeah, I opened it up. It definitely made me laugh.
Yeah.
Cats shoot.
From the own admission of the game designer, it's not an especially viable game, but I suppose it's tickled a few people's senses of humour because it's actually doing quite well. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest. I've had my head down quite a lot. I've had quite a lot of things going on recently, but that did catch my eye. I did think it was certainly an interesting idea. Like, is it an idea for a game? I can't really say it's an idea for a game because I don't know enough about it.
It's an idea for a Kickstarter, is what it is.
Yes, that's what it is.
Was it on Kickstarter back in the day that they had somebody crowdfunding to make themselves a potato salad?
Yeah, it was one of them. And he
was.
made tons of money, didn't he? Loads of money.
I mean, it's funny how much things like that can bring in because they just appeal to the banality of the internet. You know, the boaty boat-faced people. You know.
What you say?
I mean, who wouldn't throw a couple of dollars at something that just went, okay, fine. I'm putting no effort into this whatsoever. It's just a bit of fun.
Absolutely.
Right.
Okay.
Shall we do some news?
Well, I suppose we could.
We don't have
It's
to.
a news podcast. Well, yeah. Can we just skip to the bit where we talk about sci-fi books?
We'll be there soon. We will be there soon.
Okay, fine.
All right.
Fine, I suppose we'll do some news then.
All right, then. Let's do some news.
What's on the news?
So
What's on the news?
do you remember we mentioned the Relics and Rarities show, which was Deborah Ann Woll from Daredevil and True Blood and some other shows.
Yeah.
She's running a tabletop RPG over on Geek and Sundry's
I heard about
Alpha
this.
subscription service. So that launched last week.
It's currently on Project. It's on Project Alpha.
Yeah.
And they've got some good players.
Cool. I know Kevin Smith is, and Charlie Cox,
Yes.
who's Daredevil himself.
Is it? Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I didn't even spot that.
Well, there you go.
It looks really interesting. I was going to watch it, but I thought, well, if I only get 7 days free trial, maybe I'll give it a couple of episodes and then get up into it.
I must admit, I haven't seen it yet either. I was just kind of mentioning that it's launched. So the first episode was last week. So you can get it on the Project Alpha subscription service. Did you say there's a?
Yeah, that's right.
Did you say there's a 7 day free?
7 day free trial.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Oh, in that case, yeah. I think I might wait a little bit and then give it a go once there's a few episodes to watch.
Wait about a month or so. Get a couple of episodes in and see how it goes.
Yeah.
Just because, like, if I've seen one, I'll probably want to see more. Unless it's terrible, in which case I won't want to see any. Yeah, sounds good. Are you vaguely aware of this, Ed, or have you just been consumed?
No. I am actually aware of this. I was targeted by a Facebook ad or something, and I mean, I don't particularly consume that kind of podcast personally. It's one of those things that tends to suck up your life. Which I found when I listened to actually a podcast of Era the Consortium that happened shortly after the game came out. And I found I didn't have enough time to do the things I was supposed to be doing while listening to a podcast of my own game. So, yeah, I kind of steer clear of those personally, but I completely understand the people who enjoy them. It sounds like it could potentially work out really, really well.
This one's slightly different. Again, I haven't seen it, but I don't think this is a straight. She's running a Critical Role or something where she's running a game. I think there's an element of that in it, but I think it's more of a show. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't seen it. It's just the impression I've gotten from it.
Well, we'll have to draw straws and see who has to get the subscription to actually go and check this out.
So, in the news, that RPG Kickstarter ZineQuest thing. ZineQuest. I still say Zine. I know it's Zine.
You do.
I'm going to continue
It's okay.
saying Zine. It sounds better to me. That RPG
Hey, Russ,
Kickstarter.
we know what you mean, and that's okay.
ZineQuest.
How important is pronunciation anyway?
Magazine. That's how I say it. Magazine. That's how everybody should say it. Oh, as you recall, it's an initiative by Kickstarter where they're encouraging people to start zines, not zines, zines. Mm-hmm. And they're giving them a little bit of extra promotion over on Kickstarter if anyone wants to start one. So there's a whole bunch of them have started, like over 20 have dropped just in the last week, and there's a whole load more lined up. Mm-hmm. There's things like there's a mini dungeon monthly from AAW Games. There's Gamma Zine issue 1 by Throwing Games. Creature Feature Quarterly Volume 1. There's Reunification, a letter writing game about reconciliation.
Yes.
And more. I'm not going to list them all, but...
Ed is ready to jump in and tell us all about...
There was actually one, which is now finished, called The Era Zone. It finished yesterday, actually, as of recording. Wow. And that was written by yours truly. It was offering material for all of the Era games. Sort of missions, and I know Peter will be very, very sad if he didn't subscribe and get issue 2, because there are actually stats for the alien fighters in Era Balam in issue 2. I have succumbed to popular demand. But yeah, no.
And tell us a damn thing about the aliens in your game. Yeah, thanks, Ed. So someone say that's part of finishing your game.
Well, then those people don't understand the game very well.
So how did you find that, Ed, doing the whole sort of ZineQuest thing?
Because that was quite a quick one, I think.
Yeah, I mean, mine, I deliberately did it for 10 days because, as I think you guys already know, I'm planning something quite big at the end of this month, so I kind of had to get in at the start of the window and finish and have a couple of weeks before I then moved on to the rest of the stuff. I found the Kickstarter guys very, very supportive. They really wanted this to be a big deal as much as possible. Luke Crane, head of games in particular.
Yeah.
There's actually a Kickstarter Games Creator Slack, which I'm part of. I think you have to have run a certain number of games Kickstarters before they put you in there.
What's a Slack?
Sort of like an instant messenger client for group.
It's on the internet.
Like Discord or
Peter, it's on the internet.
I believe it was designed as a successor. I believe it was designed as a successor for IRC. So it's got a lot of the similar feels, and a lot of people even use it in professional work now. So my last 2 jobs, actually, we've had a work Slack that we use to communicate.
Yeah, a lot of companies use them.
Yeah.
Oh, so you were some sort of internet chat program.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, I mean, he was on the Slack, and I've seen about 20 or 30 people say that they're launching stuff for the ZineQuest. Sorry, ZineQuest. I'm very sorry.
ZineQuest.
I will call it that here, and then go back to calling it the correct thing when I'm not on the podcast anymore.
You do know we are recording this, though.
I am aware of that, but also everyone knows that I'm just accommodating you and trying to make you not look stupid.
He's a people person, Russ.
But no, I mean, the Kickstarter guys were really, really supportive. Mine actually became a project we love, which was nice. I actually think mine might have been one of the first to launch, because I was literally 1 hour after the window opened.
Yeah, it must have been then, yeah.
I overslept.
So when does the Kickstarter window end, Ed?
You have to have launched by the end of February.
Yeah, so
if you're not
there's a couple of weeks left
by 28th of February, then it'll be too late. So
and it's based on Eastern Standard Time.
I mean, that doesn't mean you can't then continue to have a Kickstarter for a Zine. It just means you won't be part of that particular
It'll be less
promotion.
supported.
Yeah. And I've got to say, as someone who's participated in a lot of Kickstarter's little initiatives, last year they did a few that I participated in, such as Make 100, where you make 100 unique things. I think they did that this year, and I think I might have spoken about Liars, because Liars was also the recent Liars Kickstarter was a Make 100. But they also did one between the 2 Voyager probe anniversaries of the launch, and that's actually where Era Balam came from, because it was inspired by the Voyager probes and what might go horribly wrong if they ever crashed on an alien planet. Okay. Yes, very inspiring, uplifting for all of humankind.
Error balance those who are familiar with well, indeed, it's not entirely dissimilar. Alien fighters and aircraft and wreck all of humanity stuff because I don't know their mean.
Well, no, because probe from humanity landed on their home planet and landed on a power station, blew up the power station, and everyone had to leave the planet, and they were a bit upset. Sort of evil Battlestar Galactica.
Right, we've got more news.
Anyway, yes. Sorry.
Really?
We have much more
What?
news.
I thought we'd done.
I say much more news, I mean a bit more news. I say a
go
bit
on.
more news, I mean, like some, couple.
Yeah.
Right, so, how about some D&D stats? I know that's your favourite topic,
stats.
Peter, D&D stats.
Oh, be still my beating heart.
So, you know D&D Beyond, the sort of online tool set, stroke character builder, stroke rules reference thing, which is officially licensed to do that. They've been releasing stats about characters that have been built using their tool set, and they've got millions of them. They said like 9 million of them, so it's a very, very heavily used feature. And just revealing some stats about the sort of characters people are playing and what are the most popular classes, races, tiers of play, all that sort of stuff. So,
Variant humans quite popular.
yeah, I mean, they've released quite a lot. They've released a few graphs with more details, so I'll just cover the sort of the top level detail. Then people who are interested can look in the Kickstarter notes, follow them through, and get the graphs with all the details. But the first information that you can glean from it is that 90% of D&D games stop by level 10. I mean, I think that's not unsurprising.
I think that's
if you look at the various tiers on their graph, you can see a great big tier 1 with 62% characters, and then tier 2 is about 26%, tier 3 is about 5%, and then tier 4 is actually slightly higher than tier 3, bizarrely, at just over 5%. But you can see
you know what that's going to be? That's going to be people who start at that level, who want to do a campaign at that level to start with.
I think what it also might be is people who are just making builds out of curiosity for fun, and they're going, right, what if I make a
I'm aiming for
17th
that.
level? Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Interestingly, at the higher levels, obviously the fighter is the most common class at lower levels, as you would expect. And pretty much all the way through, the fighter sort of reigns supreme all the way through. But the wizard becomes more popular in tiers 3 and 4 than it was in tiers 1 and 2.
Well,
so low-level wizards are unpopular, but higher-level wizards are more popular as characters.
Yeah, that's because of the way wizards are built.
Bites stock.
Whereas conversely, the cleric and the ranger both have a strong presence at the lower tiers, but they drop off at the higher tiers.
Also, not massively surprising to me.
Yeah, okay. Anything surprising come out of the results, Russ?
Whoa, listen to the sarcasm dripping there.
No,
look at that.
That's some burn, that is. That's some burn.
No, I'm sorry. I'm being mean.
You are being mean.
But yeah.
Yes.
And it is surprising.
Maybe it's obvious to you, Peter, but it might not be obvious to everybody. And we have listeners,
absolutely.
you remember.
That's true, listeners. Okay, so
There's an interesting chart on the different races. So humans, as you may have guessed, are the most common choice. 22% of races are human.
okay.
I'm betting elves comes quite high up.
Well, it's followed by half-elves. But interesting, it's then tieflings and dragonborn before elves actually show up.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. Those are pretty exciting. It's like tiefling, in my mind, are sort of like the new drow, in that you get to be play around with stories of characters with dark and tragic pasts.
And you get horns.
But without the... Yeah, you get the
And
horns.
who doesn't want horns?
You get a pair of horns. Exactly. But without the crippling mechanical disadvantage that comes with sunlight sensitivity, which is like disadvantage on all rolls made involving direct sunlight.
I'm fairly sure I have sunlight sensitivity, to be honest. So what do you think the lowest used character race is?
I'm going to bet on a drow monk.
So it's just race we're talking here.
Just race.
I'm going to say dwarf, because people hate dwarfs for no good reason.
No. I reckon we're going to talk about something that's a little bit exotic and no one's ever heard of.
Like what the bird people called the Arca
possibly those guys. I mean, Yuan Ti, I imagine, would rate pretty low.
I would play
I would play
Yuan-Ti
Yuan-Ti as well,
like
but people
that.
don't think of it.
Okay.
That's
Well,
the- Yeah,
that's true.
interestingly, it's the Deep Gnome,
The Deep Gnome.
or the Swervneblin, as it's known.
Yes.
I did say it would be something
you
obscure.
can find those in the Elemental Evils Player Companion, which is a free download from DM's Guild. And that will also give you things like the Genocide, which are half human, half elemental sorts of jazz. They're very cool.
Cool.
So we then got an overall look at classes, rather than the previous one was them divided by tier, where you could see where it changed as they went up tier. So an overall look at classes, which is really unsurprising. The top 4 are the traditional 4 D&D classes, essentially: Fighter, Rogue, Cleric, Wizard.
Okay, yeah.
And then you've got Ranger, Barbarian, Warlock, Paladin, Bard, Sorcerer, Monk, and Druid right down at the bottom. 4 little Druid.
As someone who plays a monk, yes.
Yes.
I am
Monk
unique.
only just edges out the Druid there. Only just by 0.1%, in fact.
It's probably just me then.
Probably just
Well,
you are that 0.1%.
But I play a druid.
Ah,
I also play a fighter, so yeah, it will depend. Oh yeah, but druids are quite popular in the Adventurers League game we've got going at the moment. There's several of them kicking around, possibly because they are big believers in that you should never take a sword to a bear
right now we
fight.
know where that 0.1% comes from.
Yeah.
Finally, on this immensely long stats section,
Yes.
subclasses. Which obviously is a much bigger table because there's lots and lots and lots and lots of subclasses.
Yeah.
So the most popular subclass, with over 10% of subclasses, is the life domain for the cleric.
Okay, I can see
It is
that.
followed by a couple of sorcerer bloodlines, the Draconic bloodline and the Fiend.
Neither of those surprised me, given that Dragonborn and Tiefling were some of the top characters.
True. And then we got the Champion, and right at the bottom we've got the Swashbuckler down there
Because
with 1.3%.
really no one wants to play that, apparently.
That was top 10 subclasses.
Oh, top 10
out
subclasses.
of. Yeah.
So I thought you said...
No one said 10.
Oh, what? Is Swashbuckler like the least picked?
Yes.
Or did they give you all the subclasses? Oh, what? Just in general? Really?
Someone better tell 7th
Wow.
C that no one wants to play a swashbuckler.
Yeah. Wow.
Interestingly, D&D, they know that the last time they looked, the most
fair.
popular subclass was the Hexblade. And that barely features now.
Really?
It's dropped all the way down to 2.8%. It's like, dropped from the top position all the way down to near the bottom.
Quite a lot of churn, then.
So a few more quick news items. WizKids has announced the next in the Icons of the Realm sort of pre-painted plastic miniatures. These are based on Dungeon of the Mad Mage. 44 figures, randomly packed in boosters, each of which features 1 large or huge figure and 3 small or medium.
Okay. Yeah.
There's also a train set, which is called Halaster's Lab, and that has 4 corpses in different positions, 2 large candles, a bookshelf with a dragon skull, a Baylor claw, a giant hourglass, 2 tables, a stone magic circle, and more. That's not the only miniatures that WizKids has announced.
Oh yes.
A whole load of Pathfinder 2nd Edition miniatures. Because, as you know, Pathfinder 2nd Edition launches in August. So there's a pack of 8 miniatures, 2 goblins, 2 orcs, bugbear, hobgoblin, an armoured elf warrior, and a halfling slinger. And that's timed to release at the same time as the Pathfinder 2nd Edition rules. And then it'll be followed by a legendary adventure set featuring 44 miniatures. I'm not entirely sure how they'll differ from the many, many, many thousands of miniatures Pathfinder's already released. I assume a goblin looks the same in 2nd edition as it does in the 1st. I don't know. Couldn't tell you. Are you familiar with the BAMFSIES Awards?
Yes,
The
I
what?
am, actually.
BAMFSIES. BAMFSIES.
I'm not sure what it stands for, but I'm pretty sure it's related to superhero role-playing games.
Yes. So basically, there's a podcast called the BAMF Podcast. I don't know what BAMF stands for, but they do the BAMFSIES every year, and it's all about superhero role-playing games. The judges' spotlight winner was Sigmata. Sorry. This signal kills fascists.
Nice.
So also there was the Basic Heroes Handbook for Mutants and Masterminds. There was
Nice.
the Capers RPG, and there was Survive This Vigilante City.
Nice.
And then the winner of their Gamers' Choice poll was Basic Heroes Handbook for Mutants and Masterminds, with second place going to Sigmata.
Okay, yeah, sounds intriguing.
Okay, moving on. The Talisman board game series is returning later this year. A new edition of the game, launching a new franchise of the Magic Quest games, following up the revised 4th edition released by Fantasy Flight Games. So they're going to be releasing more information at the New York Toy Fair, which is... When's that? This week? I'm not sure when that is. I think it's round about now. I think it may have been this weekend just gone, actually. Or it might be maybe just coming. I'm not sure.
I wasn't planning on going, so it's not something I had
Me
to
neither.
D&D
sort of ended up on Fox News this week.
Really?
So Patton Oswalt was mocking Super Bowl snacks, and he posted a picture. Well, first of all, a Fox News anchor called Dana Perino posted an image of her Super Bowl spread, which includes something which she calls I don't know how you pronounce it, queso, Queso. I think it's a Mexican.
Yeah,
a Mexican,
that's cheese.
Yeah.
Cheese in Spanish. Queso.
And apparently people didn't feel that actually what she posted resembled what they understood that to be.
Okay.
So Patton Oswalt,
he
took the original deities and demigods art of Shub Niggurath and tweeted a picture of that. And that got the attention of Fox News, who used it as an example of the mockery surrounding this entire dish.
Yeah.
Of course, I've got deities and demigods, and my copy doesn't have that piece of art because I don't have the original copy before the whole copyright thing where it got removed.
Right.
So if your copy of deities and demigods does have that piece of art in it, hang on to it. It's pretty rare.
Yeah, indeed, and a real piece of gaming history. You have the Cthulhu-esque entities, or maybe Cthulhu-esque and presumably the Meltbone entities as well.
Well, mine doesn't have either of those. I know, it is sad. Yeah. Let's go on with the news. We have got some Star Trek Adventures releases coming up.
Oh, yes. And that's Modiphius, isn't it?
Yes, it is. So in February, they're releasing... there's 3 hardcovers coming. In February, there's Science Division.
Yep.
In July, there's the Alpha Quadrant. And in August, there's Strange New Worlds, which is 9 original missions. So it's a book of adventures, essentially.
Yeah, that'll be the original series sort of vibe, I would hope.
Yeah, I mean this is volume 2 of their mission compendiums. So they've done one like this before. Okay. But yeah, they're coming out for Star Trek Adventures this year. So I released a new book.
Woo! Congratulations!
Very exciting
after obviously just read last week. This week I have released Spirits of Manhattan finally. So this is where you play Manhattan-based exterminators of ghosts.
Yes, people who you call if you have some sort of trouble in your neighbourhood.
Yeah, I suppose you could.
If something's weird,
you could decide to contact.
That's who you're going to call.
Yeah. So this is
Ghost Investigators of
Spirit
Manhattan.
Exterminators.
Something like that. Yeah. So Spirits of Manhattan is part of the W series. So it's following Xenomorphs, Dark Decade, and Santiago, if you recall those. And it's for the What's On His New system, and it's out now.
Yes.
Is it out now? Is it on Kickstarter?
No, it's out now. You can buy it now. You can go onto Amazon right now and buy yourself a copy. It's very nice. It's very nice indeed. Very nice. It's got pictures and everything. And words. Pictures and words, both.
My Thursday gaming group, we're having a change of place, and we're sort of a bit split between people who want to do horror gaming and somebody who's like, but we have done so much modern day stuff. We just got out of a mage game. Apparently the ones before that were like Zombie Outbreak and like a 1920s investigative, and it's all really modern day, very mundanely rooted. Whereas I'm thinking, oh, you know what's awesome? Spaceships. You know what's also awesome? Ghosts. What if we combine those two things?
You could have a ghostly spaceship.
Yes, or ghosts on a spaceship.
Or ghosts on a spaceship, or ghosts on a ghostly spaceship.
I know, the possibilities.
Zombies on a spaceship.
Do you remember the nautical D&D book that's upcoming, as yet untitled?
Oh, the one which had all those brilliant titles which they're not going to use.
Long Walk, Short Plank, and all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
I would buy that.
Oh shit! It's wet in here. Or no, I don't think that was one of them.
Like Full Fathoms 5 or something. Yeah, there was so many good
There was
names,
one called Boats and Shit, wasn't there? Something like that, was it? Was one of the titles?
There was,
yeah.
It wasn't quite in the Boaty McBoatface range, but it was
So
close.
anyway, Wizards of the Coast has leaked. When I say leaked, I don't know if it's leaked if they do it themselves. Has revealed a couple of pages from that book. They're quite blurry because they revealed them on their Twitch stream and just kind of held them up to the screen, and then people took screen caps of that. So it's not very high res, not super easy to read. Yeah, there's one page which has a couple of what looks like a couple of big battling lobsters on it. And then a couple of areas like the wave shapers' quarters and the barracks. So it's some kind of area with various Sahuagin. Is that how you pronounce that word?
Oh, Sahuagin.
How you pronounce it?
That's how I'd say it.
And the other one has a picture of some kind of large monster in some kind of gladiatorial pit, which appears to be underwater.
Ooh, underwater gladiators.
Underwater gladiators. People have pointed out that there's a lot of references to the old Saltmarsh trilogy in the text. If you can actually make out the text, which is quite hard because it's very blurry, but people have managed to make out references to the old original Saltmarsh trilogy of modules, so it looks like it's either an updated version of that or at least is inspired by that.
Okay, have they said when they want to bring that out formally?
No, there were hints a few weeks ago that it was going to be spring. Spring's not far off, so I don't know whether... I don't know, is the answer to that question. Original hints for spring, but maybe not.
Well, don't worry. I'm sure at some point they'll have the announcement where they announce when they're going to make the announcement of the announcement.
Yes,
the announcement
they will do
date.
that. They do that,
That will
yes.
be coming along quite soon, I should think. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that will be coming. I mean, they're going to have their big weekend streamed promotion announcement live stream session thing in, I think, somewhere around May, I think it is. So there is just one last piece of news, which is a bit of bad news. I'm just going to do this really quickly and then we'll move on. But RPG writer Zach S., also known as Zach Smith and Zach Sabbath, he's been accused by his ex-partner and two other women of abusive behaviour in an open letter which has been posted publicly on Facebook. And it's quite long. It's quite an unpleasant read. So, I'd warn anyone who goes looking for it. It's not a particularly pleasant read.
It is disturbing.
Yeah. He hasn't responded to this in any way yet, but it did just kind of break overnight. So, maybe he will, maybe he won't. I don't know. For those wondering who he is, he was in the video series I Hit It With My Axe. He's known for the Playing D&D with Porn Stars blog. He's written several RPG books, most recently for Lamentations of the Flame Princess, and he consulted on the 5th edition Player's Handbook, as well as having won multiple Ennies.
Done some work for White Wolf, and a couple of modules for that, if I recall correctly. So quite a well-known figure in the field.
So if any further information comes out about that, maybe we'll revisit it next week. That's basically all we know at this stage.
Well, sympathies go out to Mandy and so forth. So
let's move on to more cheerful topics, shall we?
Yeah.
How would you like to play our favourite game in all the world?
I won last time.
I'd love it. Fair enough. Oh, well, I hadn't recalled, but
I think that counts, therefore, as a winning streak, a 100% win rate.
It is. It is. It is technically a 100% win rate. You're not wrong.
It is marvellous. Okay. I see how this goes. Fine.
So our favourite game in the world.
So say what you like about Morris's unofficial tabletop roleplay talk. We acknowledge the concept of the home team advantage and laugh at it in that fashion. Come on then, let's play this game.
It is the game where I give you the name of a Kickstarter and you try and guess what it is from just the name. And I give you a highly scientific and accurate score using a very, very detailed spreadsheet. And as you know, that if you score 0 on all items, a black hole is formed and the world ends.
Have we changed it? I thought if it was I scored sufficient negative points.
No, it has to be exactly 0. Negative points actually save it. 2 each, sound good?
Yeah, sounds amazing. Let's do it.
Who wants to go first?
I should go first. Show these young people how it's done.
Number 1. What is Carbon 2185?
Ooh, nice. I think it is an exciting sci-fi thriller game set in the year 2185. So I guess that puts it quite near future.
It's not
it's not going to be like...
I'm just saying, 2185 isn't that near future.
It's quite a long way away.
Yeah, it's pretty
165
near.
years
It's like,
away.
3 foot 2. Who knows? Might live to see it.
Yeah.
Never know.
Like the early 1800s of the near past. The early 1800s were quite recent. Yes.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you look at like the grand view
Sure,
of history,
on a
that's
cosmological
actually,
time scale.
recent.
Yes, all right, I'll give you that.
Even on the scale of human history, it's a blink of an eye. Mate.
Anyway,
Yes.
Carbon 2185.
Yeah, I'm hoping for, if I see that, I'm hoping, because it's got carbon in, I'm hoping for exciting science, although there is the possibility of time travel, because it's like riffing off carbon dating. 2185, I'm hoping for some exciting cyberpunk adventures.
I will give you 6 out of 10 for that, because I think it was quite easy, just from the name. There's another couple of details to it. So yeah, it is cyberpunk. It is set in 2185, set in the city of San Francisco. And it's for D&D 5th edition.
Ooh,
so it uses the D&D rule set to create a sort of new cyberpunk tabletop RPG, 300-page core rulebook, dystopian future. Well, you know the drill, basically.
Yeah, no, I'll be interested to see how they deal with the concept of guns, which generally tend to break D&D quite hard.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see, I agree. So £35 is a UK-based one. £35 will get you the core rulebook in hardcover.
Fair enough. When does the Kickstarter for that end?
On Friday, February the 15th.
This week.
End of this week.
Oh, well, there you go. If you're listening to this when the podcast comes out, get in there quickly. And if you're listening to this on February 16th, I'm sorry, you've missed your chance.
Indeed. So the next one on the list, which would be from Ed, gonna have to skip this one because it's Cats and Cats, which I know Ed knows what it is because he brought it up earlier in the podcast. So we're going to skip past Cats and Cats. Despite,
can I just do
despite
it
the fact that I really wanted to do
it?
Cats and Cats. Oh well.
Never mind.
So instead, we'll move on to Awaken the Liborian Saga. And Liborian is spelt like librarian, but it's not spelled like librarian. That didn't help at all, did it? It's spelled Liborian.
So it's something with interbank lending. Nice.
Interesting. Well, that speaks to me of fantasy in general. It just sounds like a fantasy thing. Maybe Awaken. It makes me think of like a nightmare kind of monsters that attack you in your nightmares.
Right. Kind
of idea. I cannot imagine what on earth the Liborian Saga actually could mean. Maybe it's either a setting book or a campaign, rather than being a game itself.
So, Ed, you have just scored 79 points out of 100. How many points did you?
Right.
How many points did you score?
6 out of 10 he did.
So 79 to 6 is the score so far.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
No, because you have to divide it, so it's
No,
more
that's
like
not. That's not how the spreadsheet
7.9.
works.
I'm comfortable with this.
So Ed is leading 79 to 6 at the moment. So you said the word nightmare, and you said the word campaign setting for a game, which is pretty much exactly it. So it's a dark fantasy. It's for the Awaken RPG, and it's a campaign setting called the Liborian Saga. And it says,
goodness. I actually know the Awaken RPG as well. Goodness, now I think of it.
Yeah, turns out Ed actually backed this Kickstarter and forgot completely about it. But future Ed's looking forward to his present from past Ed.
so it says you face the nightmares in the dark. You actually use the word nightmare, which is why you're presumably leading Peter so well in this game at the moment. Face the nightmares in the dark and in your heart. It's a dark fantasy role-playing game. You play as one of the Vassali, a group of people who've undergone an unusual change that's given them powers. The next one. Okay.
Yes.
Dark Naga, Haunting of Hastur.
This rings bells with me. Well, Haunting of... Is there a semicolon? Sorry, not a semicolon. A full colon lurking in there.
There is a hyphen. A dash.
A dash, if you will, between Naga and...
Haunting.
And Haunting of Hastur. Okay, so...
Yes, it's not between haunting and of, because that would be weird.
Yeah. that'd be super.
That would be.
Dark Naga Haunting of Hasta.
Yeah.
I guess that would be Hasta's role-playing game. But that's not the game I'm playing right now. I'm trying to answer what this actually is. I think Dark Naga are the studio that have produced it. And Haunting of Hasta, it will be a Lovecraftian setting, obviously, Hasta being one of the major gods there. Cthulhu investigating it. I'm going to take a bit of a gamble. I am hoping for a medieval theme, or like that sort of medieval fantasy style for the time period. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm probably not right, but that would be very cool. How am I doing?
I'd say you get.
I'm supposed to be making the confused noises first.
Yeah. Well, it's not that, but you're not like a million miles. You're not like, you haven't like catastrophically gone off the rails. So 5 out of 10. Just a bit.
Woo!
So Dark Naga is in fact the company, as you said, Dark Naga Adventures. The Haunting of Hasta is omnibus edition of the Haunting of Hasta modules. So it was a campaign designed to integrate with the starting adventures of the 5e box set or other sort of introductory adventures for 5th edition. And then it takes the party up through level 12. So you start on a job to investigate missing people, and then you're pulled into a confrontation... a what? What did I say?
Into the concentration.
A confrontation. With those who would bring Hasta back into the world. So it's 240 pages, hardcover, full colour interior, containing a whole series of adventures.
So it's not exactly medieval fantasy, but it is D&D.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
Okay.
There's also,
I can see where
it says also for OSR as well.
Oh, yeah, well, there you go. I mean, obviously that will also be very different from any sort of European medieval fantasy.
completely different.
Completely different
Completely
in every
different
way.
in every way, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So for mocking me there, Ed, what's cats and cats?
I can't tell if you're serious or not.
I suppose that would be unfair.
Neither can he.
So instead, let's go with the Tome of Magical Mystery.
Oh gee, I wonder what this might include. Well, I'm going to guess that it's probably a tome that contains magical mysteries. Possibly, well, I mean, possibly spells that you can cast would be my immediate guess. Or maybe magical items, or a bit of both. And it, you know what? I'm going to go there because there are so many out right now, and we've been talking about it all day. It sounds like it's a 5e D&D book to me. That it sounds like the kind of title people would use.
Okay.
Do you think? Oh, interesting.
I need you to choose between spells or magic items there.
Oh, jeez.
The fate of the game rests upon this choice.
Where is my dice?
Oh my god, it's tense.
I'm going with magical items.
Oh, yes!
I'm going with magical items.
And with that answer, Ed wins the game, continuing his winning streak, obliterating the opponent. It is indeed a D&D 5th edition book of 200 unique magical items.
Oh my goodness. That's unbelievable. Okay.
Hey, that's an excellent title for a Kickstarter.
Yes.
Excellent title.
Well, I mean, let's face it, at the end of the day, the reason we play this game is to find out whether the Kickstarter titles are any good at indicating what you're getting. And I think I've just proved
Ed,
this is a Rust level title.
It's not long enough for a Rust level title.
Well, yeah, you would have said Tome of Magical Items, obviously.
I would have said
for 5th edition D&D.
A large paginated book filled with 200 magical items organised in sequential alphabetical order. would have been my title for the book.
Unfortunately, there's a character limit on Kickstarter titles.
I know. Damn it. Damn you, Kickstarter. Damn you.
Oh, Russ, can we do a sketch? Can we do a sketch?
All right, then. So this sketch is from our friend Shane Stacks of the Shane Plays radio show and podcast.
Oh,
we have
Shane.
mentioned
Thank
him
you.
before, and he's sent a sketch in before. This isn't the first of his sketches we've performed. This one's Cthulhu based. Call of Cthulhu fans will enjoy this one.
Marvellous. And what's it called?
He's called it. Now that's what I call a sanity check.
Oh, marvellous.
Let's do it.
Let's do
All
it.
right.
Woo! Okay, Rookie. Let me see what you have on your character sheet so far. Oh, for the love of... You've got everything in strength and dex.
Classic mistake, youngster.
One easily avoided, however. Not the end of the world. Just keep in mind, Worlds of Lovecraft is more of an investigative game with lots of atmosphere than your garden variety hack and slash dungeon crawler. That'll keep you sane in character creation.
Yeah, just look at this sheet. Listen, you're not going to be hacking and slashing through unended shoggoths with a big manly two-handed sword at this table. The occasional insane cultist gathering a gibbering, whispering horror from beyond mortal ken, maybe, but they're not really the main threat.
Have a revolver, or better yet, a Tommy gun handy for those insane cultists. Revolver if you need to reuse the ropes for a bit of sneaking.
Right, I do love a bit of sneaking into the main sacrificial ritual right before the climax. Don't look at me like that, Rookie. This isn't that game of Dragonhawk Chronicles you've been playing with your schoolmates. You knew that, right? No epic war of good versus evil, and fancy schmancy tormented emo mages and their iron-thewed brothers here.
I may just look how low this power attribute score is. Shameful. By Dirlething Pot. What do you mean? Why is the power attribute important if it's not hack and slash?
The Rookie's just confused, that's all. Look, in Worlds of Lovecraft, see, power isn't like brute strength or fuel for magical missiles. It's your inner resolve and charisma and whatnot.
Your mental resilience and spirit. That's why it's important, though. Here's why it's really important. The higher your power, the more sanity points, Rookie.
What do you mean, what are sanity points? Look, Pete, just sit back and breathe for a moment. You know how you get. Not his fault. We were all young once. In this game, the point isn't to win, you see, but to survive for as long as possible against the inevitable doom of unspeakable elder horrors and unseeable colours from space that everyone can actually see.
Usually look like purple, actually.
And tentacled, slimy fish people that will suck out your soul, if you're lucky. You'll either die a gruesome, mind-numbingly horrible death just about the time you're really getting a handle on your character, or, more likely, go absolute bat-scat, whack-job starkers nuts from all those dread sights and horror that are infinitely beyond a sane mind. Just a matter of when the big straitjacket from underneath reality comes for you, really. What's that? Is great immersive storytelling the point, then? Solving the unfolding terrible mystery in time to prevent the final horror? No! Look!
It's to go out as spectacularly as possible, Rookie.
Oh, by Howard Phillips, the man is right. Having your hair turned instantly white by the susurrations of an elder sentient white dwarf star breathing directly into your mind would be the bottom of the scale, mate. That's kid stuff.
Why, I remember one time I lost all my sanity and drove that stolen lorry full of clanking bottles of degrading nitroglycerin down a busy high street, cackling like a loon and aiming for kittens. I don't know why there's so many kittens. Maybe there was something else. Never did find out. The crater, you know.
It's a nice crater, as craters go, but pshaw! You call that failing your sanity check? I remember the time I thought I was Great Cthulhu himself and exulted in menacing a fear-struck crowd of helpless victims with my uncountable tentacles. Cthulhu had been called that night, mate. Turns out, the crowd was insane cultists, and the tentacles were these ropes with nooses I was wearing, them being tied to leering, mouldy old gargoyles in that ancient castle and all. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall that night, if you remember, Pete, except the fall was abruptly halted in the neck of time.
Nice one, Bill. But, sorry to say, fairly amateur. You remember that time I became one with all of space and time and gained ultimate unutterable knowledge, but was in fact going completely indescribably cosmically starkers whilst in the loo reading an Necronomicon?
Amateur indeed. That certainly qualifies, and barely at that. Why, do you remember the time we were on top of a skyscraper in 30s New York City when Spooky Simon wanted to run us through some more Yank stuff, like he calls it? I took one look at Azathoth rampaging through Times Square, simultaneously pulled the pin on my grenade and popped it in my mouth like a tasty metal pineapple before executing a perfect swan dive off the roof with a big stupid grin on my face, exploding spectacularly in a blossoming flower of fire and gore exactly halfway to the busy street below.
Great times. But those pedestrians wishing they had their umbrellas that night. You see, Rookie.
Wait, where's he going? He took his bag and everything, and he had the snacks.
Who knows? Kids these days. Listen, do you remember that time at the Mountains of Madness when?
Yeah, so Peter, we've had a review.
A review?
A review.
Wait, somebody said nice things about our podcast.
Well, I didn't say that. We've had a review. No, they have done. They have
done.
From a chap from the USA. I don't know where that is. Is that out near Tottenham, maybe?
Maybe. Is it near Cornwall? I can't remember.
I don't know. But someone from some exotic foreign land, known only as the USA. Q Bracken is his name.
Thank you, Q Bracken. Much appreciated.
They say, Morrus and Peter are wonderful to listen to. Very funny, very British, and definitely one of my favourites.
That's very nice. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, you can listen again. Not stop you,
we really do appreciate it.
Yes.
And if people could just leave us a quick 5-star review over on iTunes or somewhere similar, that gives us the sort of motivation to keep going.
I realise that it sounds a bit odd to keep asking for 5-star reviews, and you might be under some sort of weird impression that the number of stars you leave is related to the merit of the podcast. But the way the iTunes system works, it's basically if you don't put 5 stars, then you will be ignored. So you can either leave 0 stars and say mean things about us. Please don't do that. We would be sad. Or you can give us 5 stars and say something nice about us.
Yeah, it's their algorithms when they sort out the visibility of podcasts. Basically, they look at how many 5-star reviews you've got. So if you've got 1,000 4-star reviews, but no 5-star reviews, you'll probably rank lower than someone that's got 2 5-star reviews and 30 3-star reviews.
Basically.
Unfortunately, that is just how it works. It's a binary system. It's either a 5-star review or it's not.
But ultimately, the way we always love to build our podcast is if you liked us, tell your friends, and if you didn't like us, tell no one.
Yes, don't tell your friends. So shall we move on to the main topic of the week?
We should move on to the main topic of the week.
So what is our main topic of the week?
Well, I figured if there's one thing I know about Ed Jowett, it's that he really loves sci-fi. Mm-hmm. That we might talk about sci-fi. Because I understand that, Ed, you've written a sci-fi game. In fact, both of you have written sci-fi games. Here I am, not even having written one sci-fi game.
You've seen sci-fi games.
I've seen
You've
them
heard
as
of
well.
sci-fi games. You are aware that they exist.
Your sci-fi. Yeah, one of you has run a sci-fi game for me. I've run a sci-fi game for one of you, and I'm sure in the course of the conversation it will become apparent which is which. Yeah, because you got a Kickstarter for some minis coming out, I think, Ed.
I do.
Yes.
Actually, more importantly, to me anyway. Well, everyone focuses on the minis, right? Because minis.
They're quite pretty.
They are. Don't get me wrong. They are fantastic minis, and I'm not doing them down at all. But slightly more important and higher on my criteria list around this particular Kickstarter is the fact that it's actually the 5th anniversary of Era the Consortium, the first game I ever created, being published. So
nice.
That's 5 years. That's quite a long time, actually.
Yeah, well,
it feels like it to me. I mean, for some of us, maybe. Created the game.
I'm coming on the 20th anniversary of mine, but the first product I published. Oh, I feel so old.
But anyway, 5 years is exciting. So there.
In another 15 years, that could be you.
Yeah, it's not recommended.
We're moving swiftly on. So Era Consortium, 5 years. Good. I think what's old is new. That's that's come out. That's getting on for about 5 years.
What's old is about 5 years old now as well. Yeah, I did not realise it happened. That kind of shot by. I honestly still think of it as last year. It wasn't.
I know what you mean, because I have the same thing. It doesn't feel like it was that long ago that I was going, how the hell do you even do this anyway?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that may be because I'm still kind of trying to go, how the hell do you even do this anyway? But that irrelevant.
I think that's just the life condition of humanity, though. I think everyone secretly does that about whatever it is they do.
Yeah, fair dues.
Cleverly disguised as responsible adults. Yeah.
What was your first sci-fi game that you played? RPG?
That I played?
Yeah.
Tabletop RPG?
Yeah.
Paranoia.
Ooh.
Nice. Oh,
Yeah, I was introduced.
That might actually be my one.
I was introduced to Paranoia way back at university.
Yeah.
I went to the Indoor Gaming Society. A really, really nice guy ran a game, and I was handed a challenge by the Illuminati of eliminating a prime number of clones. And we had a conversation at the end because I got to 16. And then I committed suicide.
Oh dear.
Because I eliminated a clone. And he said that didn't count. And I said, come on, that definitely counts.
What? That's
I know,
definitely
right?
something
It's like,
eliminating.
you word it that loosely. I eliminated a clone, it's fine. But yeah, no, and also no one could actually track it down either.
No, I have fond memories of Paranoia as well, yeah. Apart from that GM who kept making the players do press-ups.
Whoa. Sorry. What, the GM made the actual players do press-ups? Dang, that's some next level meanness. Come on.
This is
Scribbles furiously.
I must have been 18
Actually,
or
We
so.
should
at the
probably
time.
explain what paranoia is, to be fair, for people, because there are many people who don't know what it is.
I think it would be treason.
first
I
of
think
all,
it would be treasonous to do so, to be honest.
I think it would be treasonous to explain what Paranoia is. So I'll simply say that you should go and look it up online. And also, it was the first game that I ever GM'd ever. And that
really?
was 1 week after the first game I played of it. and the reason that I was able to do that is it is, in fact, against the rules for the players to know the rules. So if you're a new GM and you're a bit worried about players picking you up on sort of the ins and outs of the rules, Paranoia is a really, really good place to start because they can't criticise.
Yeah. So what about?
if they do it as treason.
So what about you, Peter? What was your first sci-fi RPG?
Well, I was thinking it was probably going to be like playing D20 Travel or something, but no, Paranoia.
Same one, yeah.
Would be,
Paranoia 2.
Yeah, and at university days, yeah. Just because like there were various things kicking around, and yeah, it was D&D. There was maybe some. I've never even actually got to play Vampire. I've played old World of Darkness Vampire, but that was the other one. It was D&D. There was Paranoia, and those were the ones that were really big at university at the time. So yeah, I guess I played Paranoia too. We never played it on serious mode, so I've always sort of hated Paranoia a little bit,
Right.
because like I found it very difficult to buy into it. But what I really like about it is the flavour of... There's a film called The Death of Stalin that came out, I think, about 2 years ago now. And that is a Paranoia game.
I suppose. Yeah, it's quite funny.
It's exactly it. They're all running around, having their secret plots and factions, trying to work out how to live.
Yeah.
And there's like a strong chance of being shot by your own side for treason. Treason being maybe that thing you did 5 minutes ago, which was an act of immense patriotic loyalty. So yeah, never played it.
Or indeed dying in green acid. How dare you? It's above your clearance level.
Absolutely, it should be red acid or nothing.
Well, somewhat treasonously.
Well, black acid's all right too. I mean, you're allowed infrared acid. That's okay.
Oh yeah.
And somewhat treasonously,
Something-
my first sci-fi RPG was not Paranoia. I actually feel bad about
right.
that now.
I forget. But frankly,
It was
it's the one.
Fass's Star Trek RPG many years ago.
What? It's
Fass's Star Trek RPG.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
we'd been playing AD&D First Edition for ages, and we just decided to try something different because we were all a little bit bored of fantasy. And we were Star Trek fans. But anyway, so yeah, walked in, saw that on the shelf, took that home, and then took that to school. And and that's been one of my favourite. Even looking back on it, it's not a fantastic game, but it's still one of my favourites just because of the nostalgia factor. And I've still got that original box set, the same one, even though it's falling apart now and taped up and all this sort of stuff to keep it together. But I still have it, and love it to bits, that box set.
Was this the one where you had to roll to switch on your tricorder? As all like pools of D6 and so forth like
No,
that.
it's a percentile game, that was.
Oh, okay.
You had the character sheet was like Call of Cthulhu character sheets, which the bottom half of the character sheet is like 1 million skills.
Yeah,
or
about that,
percentile skills. Well, the FAS's system back then was like that too. So basically, the bottom half of the character sheet would be filled with skills. A lot of which, because it was Star Trek, were scientific skills, which I kind of liked about it as well, because a lot of them were cerebral skills rather than other things.
Touching things.
Yeah. I mean, I had those too, obviously, but you could have astrophysics and botany and all different sciences.
Yeah, I think one of the things is like I was because my group is looking for that new game, my Thursday group. I think a lot of people end up playing fantasy by default because everyone knows what fantasy is. But what is science fiction? And what manner of science fiction are you going to play? Like, if I say, guys, let's play some fantasy thing, you would bring certain expectations to the table. You'd expect to have a fighty man, like maybe a wizard, that sort of thing. That would be well within your ballpark. But if I say, let's play some sci-fi, what am I suggesting?
Do you think sci-fi's may be a broader canvas then? Is that what you're saying? So you'd have to be more specific and say, let's play Star Wars, and then people know what that is. Or
cyberpunk, or... I understand where you're coming from. I understand where you're coming from. Actually, I kind of tend to agree, Peter, because that's really why Era of the Consortium exists. And the thing that it tries to... Well, I'm going to go further than tries to. The thing that it offers.
There you go.
It offers all of the subgenres of sci-fi within the history. So, as you say, many, many different subgenres. There's the colonization of a new planet. There's the Star Trek exploring new worlds and discovering things. There's the encountering alien races. There's the Starship Troopers. The aliens are trying to kill you all. There's the cyberpunk kind of stuff with the implants and where does man end and machine begin, and downloading your brain into things and re-uploading it again and all that kind of stuff. There's the Star Wars thing, which is kind of like, oh no, the government's oppressive and it's awful, which does sort of factor into cyberpunk, but cyberpunk I find tends to be a bit more restricted in geography.
Yeah, it's more of a local sort of, maybe often a city-based game.
Sure.
And your problem isn't the government, it's your hostile corporations that you're trying to work around, these extra governmental organisations.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, Eclipse Phase actually does a really nice job of somewhere in the middle of that. Because it offers you kind of the whole solar system, and it really is fairly extensive within that. I personally didn't love the system, but particularly the hacking rules, I found them a bit clunky. But the setting, really, really enjoyed it. And the thing is that in order to do all of these different games, you have to go out and buy a different game.
Yes, that's very true.
And as a sci-fi fan who loves all sci-fi, that annoys me a bit. I look at that and go, okay, but I wanna do this, and then I want to do that, and then I want to do this, and then I want to do that, and I want it all to be different. Firefly, another example of something that's not quite the same, but could kind of slot into other things, but not quite the same, and then the system doesn't quite handle it perfectly, so you end up having to spend ages tweaking it, and so for me, that's why Era of the Consortium came into existence, because it was really all about, how do I create something that gives you all of sci-fi as your playground.
Not all in the same game.
All within the same game, but you kind of pick your subgenre by choosing where in the history you hop in.
So you've got the setting as well of Era of the Consortium. Whereas I think Rush, you took like a different approach when you were doing new.
Well, I don't have a setting. That's the thing. It's more of a toolkit kind of. It's like you buy, I don't know, sort of the D&D player's handbook. It doesn't say this is the setting. You take it and you either buy a separate setting or you create your own setting. So that's the approach I took. So it's a totally different approach. It's
actually it is. It's the complete opposite end, because I've gone, you need a setting to play all of these things, and you can play all of these things, and your approach to exactly the same problem was, you know what, you want to play Star Wars, here are the rules that will cover it, and you want to play Star Trek, same rules will cover it, you're fine, don't worry about it.
The tech level setting, I think, was the tech level dial. Is that
I mean, that's an old mechanic going back to Traveller and all sorts of games like that, and GURPS has used it and things like that, so it's not, I don't think anyone can really claim credit from that since the 1970s, but Yeah, so that's a fairly standard mechanic. But yeah, you have a tech level thing that tells you what sort of level technology you're using in your campaign, or on a specific planet, or in a specific setting, or whatever.
And what is sci-fi? Like, let's talk of like hard sci-fi and soft sci-fi, and it's like, what do people mean by these terms? But it's all sci-fi. We like try to blend all these things. But if I say let's run a sci-fi game, I then have to immediately start narrowing
Saying
down
what
a
it
genre.
is. Well, I think that's. I wonder, Peter, if that actually comes from the fact that fantasy, when role-playing games started, was one specific thing, right? And
Okay.
not certainly not all. And I don't want to give anyone the impression I think that, but a lot of fantasy games go down a very similar route.
So what other sci-fi RPGs have you guys enjoyed over the years?
Well, that's the thing. A lot of my experience isn't based in sci-fi. I've done a bit of D20 Traveller, which
It's not the best
for
traveller.
about 3 or 4 sessions. It's not the best Traveller. It was very much a spreadsheet simulator. We went from planet to planet, entering data into our ships, working out where things would sell well, and then
Yep,
buying,
standard. Yep.
taking it over there and selling it. And I was like, moderately enjoying it. We didn't particularly do much. And then our final session, we were basically mugged by space pirates. I was like, huzzah! Finally, I get to do something, because I'd be like, I'll do shipboard security. I go out, manage to fluff both my roles despite being a space marine on combat drugs, and then was instantly annihilated by some scrub pirates laser
Well, at
fire.
least you
I
didn't
was
get
like,
killed during character creation, as Traveller is well known for.
I think this version
But
of
the thing is, right?
I could have dealt with that better though.
Yeah, there's a difference. I also have played a fair bit of Traveller. Love the setting. I've actually played several different rule sets. But one of the things I actually like about Traveller is that aspect, because at the end of the day, you run this ex-military thing, and you're sat there and you're rolling out your character, and like, okay, do I push it and risk losing this statistical spreadsheet I've built up, or do I go, no, that's enough? And, having that risk and having that difficulty, you haven't bonded to the character yet. It doesn't have a personality, The fact that no matter what, this person just will not die, no matter how many times you don't retire, no matter how many times you keep going, they just will not die of old age, that can build a personality. Or maybe you roll the best things you could possibly want in the first 5 turns, and you muster out, and you're still fine. You're not even old. You might be ex-military, but you know everything you wanted to know for your character, and that in itself can build you a little bit to for your character to begin on. And that's actually, I think it's, I know that people are, your character can die in character creation, but I think that having the threat of that is something that makes you think harder about whether you take a risk and go for the power gamer direction, or whether you go, like whether you take it easy and maybe don't take the risk, just to get that one extra skill point that you might not get anyway at the end of the day. That's just my thought.
The problem, of course, being that, gamers being gamers, it's like, well, I don't particularly attach to this character. I'll just keep on going and pushing it until I get all the shiny things for risking it. I quite liked the criminal career in New, which is, if you take the criminal career, there's a D10, D6 chance of 1 in 6 chance of being nabbed by the law, and then your next career is as a prisoner, which gives you a different set of skill sets. So it's like, okay, I actually really like this. It's like, it's not something I've chosen, except it sort of is, because I've chosen to be a criminal.
Yeah, and
there may be consequences for your criminal actions.
Well, what you can do to
death
avoid
is the
that
least interesting thing.
What you can do to avoid that problem, Peter, because I agree that's a valid problem. What I do to avoid it is I say to the players, okay, you have 3 tries. And then what you get is the people who push it really, really hard the first time. They're like, okay. And then they come out with the second character, and maybe it can't do what they want it to do. And then they come out with the third character, and by that time they're going, okay, I need to play a safety here. Right? Or maybe you're lucky and you get it right the first time and it's perfect. But most people will push it too far the first time, going, oh yeah, it's fine. I got 2 more tries. It doesn't even matter anyway. And then I find that people have a disaster the second time. Because they're like, oh man, I could play this character, but it would be terrible. So they start playing a safety game. And that makes people think a lot harder about what character they create.
Interesting. Yeah. But yeah, death is, well, I mean, that does work very nicely. I suppose the consequence if you don't make it on the third is you tell them that they couldn't play?
No. You hand them a GM created character that I had in advance. And you say, sorry, you have to play this. You have no choice. You die.
I mean, if you've got randomly rolled stats, that sounds quite tempting to me, Ed, because I can't roll stat dice for the money. It's like my dice are like, no, you may have a 12. I'm like, it's 3 dice. How can it be so
12 is above average. Just?
Has your best stat.
Has your best stat, anyway. Yeah, okay, fair enough.
So death is not that interesting as a result, as a consequence. It's easy. It's an easy way to raise the stakes.
I'm just going to take that quote straight out of the podcast and just like use that out of context. Peter just like, death is just not that interesting.
Well, it's not just lie there, and you're not really participating anymore, are you?
I mean that all of that said, right? About death not being interesting, and I do understand where you're coming from, but at the end of the day, we're still sat here talking about the game as something unique because your character can die. It's not something that's done very often, and to a degree, you've got to salute the guts that it takes a game designer to say, by the way, your character can actually die before you ever get to play anything.
So I think that's probably it for this week. I just want to quickly thank you, Ed, for coming on. It's been a pleasure having you here for the second time, especially seeing the way you soundly defeated Peter in your favourite game of all the world.
Well, then I'll have to come back so I can soundly defeat him again.
3 times.
Absolutely.
If you do it 3 times, that means you're technically replacing him as the co-host of the podcast. That's how it works. That's the rules.
Oh, what's that? What's that? A 2-1 upset I hear.
Yeah, thank you so much
for coming on the podcast, Ed.
Thank you very much for having me, because I had a blast.
Fantastic. Thank you to everyone for listening. So I'm just going to sign off now. It's goodbye from me, Russ.
Goodbye from me, Peter Coffey, Southampton Guild of Roleplayers.
And it's goodbye from me, Ed Jowett, Shades of Vengeance.
Bye-bye, everybody.
That was the best podcast yet. No, I'm just joking. It was awful. The dog that was howling outside my bedroom window last night would have done a better job. I'm considering swapping Russ and Peter's heads just to see what will happen. Do let me know next week if you notice any difference.